If you've made it this far, I know you're as hooked on Olivia and Grayson's story as I am. But the drama's not over, yet tomorrow's episode will reveal a secret that changes everything. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss it. And hey, I'd love to know where in the world are you watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments below so we can see how far this story is reaching. Let's build a little community of story lovers right here. See you in the next episode. She thought she married a billionaire CEO and the father of her child. Olivia Bennet never imagined that one signature could change her entire life. It was supposed to be a quick visit to the city courthouse, sign the papers, make her aging grandmother happy, and walk away from a fake marriage she didn't even want. Her, or rather the man who agreed to help her with the paperwork, was running late. Just get in line. I'll be right there, he texted. So she did. She clutched a small folder of documents, her ID, the license, and a few family papers. When the clerk called her name, she stepped forward without hesitation. A man was already standing at the counter, tall and dressed in black. He turned slightly, revealing sharp features and calm, unreadable eyes. Olivia barely glanced at him. Sorry, she mumbled, assuming he was just another applicant. The clerk asked them to stand together for a quick photo. Olivia hesitated, but figured it was just part of the formality. After all, it was a fake marriage, a legal loophole, nothing more. She smiled weakly for the camera, and before she knew it, stamp, signature. Done. The man walked away without a word. Only moments later, Olivia's reel rushed in, waving his hands. Wait, Olivia, I'm here. Did they call your name? Yet her heart dropped. It hit her like a wave. She had married the wrong man. Panicked, Olivia scrambled through her folder and saw the Ashusha had grabbed someone else's paperwork. The names didn't match. The ID number was off. Her hands trembled. She wanted to chase after the man she had just accidentally married. But he had already disappeared. At first, she thought it would be simple: go back, explain the error, and void the certificate. But bureaucracy isn't that kind. And worse, her grandmother was already asking for the marriage license, hoping to frame it in the family living room. With no choice, Olivia handed it over and pretended everything was fine. What? She didn't know what no one could have guessed was the identity of the stranger she had accidentally tied her life to. His name was Grayson Wolf, the 36-year-old CEO of Wolf Industries. One of the most powerful and mysterious men in New York, Grayson had a habit of keeping a low profile. Most people never even saw his face. The man the media dubbed the Ghost. CEO had just walked into the courthouse for a discreet legal update, and walked out with a wife he hadn't planned on. For Olivia, it was a mix-up. For Grayson, it was intriguing. Neither of them knew yet how that one moment, careless signature, a silent glance, a mistaken identity would lead to something far deeper. Because sometimes, fate doesn't ask for permission. Sometimes it signs the papers for you. It had been 3 weeks since Olivia Bennet accidentally married Grayson Wolf, the mysterious man she barely knew, who turned out to be one of the most powerful CEOs in the country. She still hadn't wrapped her head around it. Life didn't wait, while she tried to keep her accidental marriage a secret. Someone else was planning something far worse. Back at the Bennet household, the tension was quietly brewing. Olivia's stepmother, Carla, sat in the family study, sipping her wine and flipping through the pages of Olivia's late mother's will. A crooked smile crept across her lips. She has no idea, Carla whispered. Across from her, Riley, Olivia's 25-year-old stepsister, was scrolling through Olivia's social media with barely veiled contempt. She's been gone for 5 years, and now she thinks she can just show up and take everything back? Riley scoffed. The everything they were talking about wasn't small. Olivia's mother had left behind 45% of Carter Group shares, several design patents, and a multi-million-dollar townhouse in Manhattan. Legally, it all belonged to Olivia, but that didn't stop Carla and Riley from scheming. Their plan was simple: destroy Olivia's credibility and force her to sign everything over. It started with whispers, gossip seeded online, shady articles questioning her credentials. Then came the emails from design boards, asking her to clarify her sudden return to the architecture scene after years abroad. Olivia felt the walls closing in, but she had no idea who was behind it. At first, then came the real blow. She received an invitation to the prestigious ArcLight design competition, a once-in-a-lifetime event for architects across the country. It was her chance to prove herself again, to step out of the shadows of her past. She poured her soul into her design-lit nights, cold coffee, and hours sketching until her wrist ached. But on the day of the presentation, everything fell apart. As Olivia stood proudly beside her model, the judges looked confused. Whispers turned into stares. And then, Riley stepped into the spotlight, holding up a tablet. "This design," she said smugly, "was taken from my laptop. My original concept. My sister plagiarized it." Olivia's heart nearly stopped. She rushed to defend herself. But security was already moving toward her. The media snapped photos. Headlines were being written before she even left the building. Betrayed, humiliated, destroyed. That night, Olivia sat in her tiny apartment staring blankly at the wall. Her phone buzzed, non-stop calls from news outlets, messages from so-called friends, and a single, unexpected text. From Grayson, "I saw what happened. Do you want me to handle it?" She didn't know how he knew, or why he even cared. But for the first time, she replied yes. Because Olivia had just learned something painful, but true family isn't always who you're born into. Sometimes, they're the ones who want you gone the most, and in a world full of wolves, maybe having one on your side isn't such a bad thing. After the scandal at the design competition, Olivia Bennett went into hiding. Her name had been dragged through the mud. Online forums were calling her a fraud. News anchors speculated about the fall of a once promising designer, and even former classmates began to distance themselves. But none of it compared to the betrayal she felt from Riley. She had poured years of work into that design, and Riley had stolen it with a smile. Still, Olivia wasn't just hiding from the media. She was hiding him her son, 5-year-old Noah. With his big brown eyes and messy curls, was the one thing in her life that gave her hope. No one knew about him. Not the Bennett family, not the media, and definitely not Grayson Wolf. He didn't even know he had a child 5 years ago. After that one mistaken night and the courthouse disaster, Olivia had left the country. She'd planned to fix the paperwork quietly, but then she discovered she was pregnant. Scared, alone, and heartbroken, she moved to Paris and started a new life. She never meant to come back. But when her mother passed, she returned to New York for the funeral, the inheritance, and maybe closure. But now, things were spiraling. The scandal had not only ruined her name, had jeopardized Noah's future. She needed money, security, a plan. And as much as she hated to admit it, she needed Grayson. So, late one night, after tucking Noah into bed, Olivia sat down and did what she'd been avoiding for years. She wrote a letter. "Dear Mr. Wolf, you don't know me. Not really. But 5 years ago, we signed a marriage certificate by mistake. You probably forgot." I didn't. I couldn't because I had a child. "His name is Noah, and he's yours. I'm not asking for anything. Just think you deserve to know the truth." She never sent it. Instead, she decided to see him face to face. She left Noah with a trusted friend, dressed in the most professional outfit she could find, and walked into the lobby of Wolf Industries the next morning. "Have an appointment?" the receptionist asked, barely glancing up. "No," Olivia replied, "but he knows me." After a tense wait and a dozen skeptical stares, she finally saw him. Grayson walked through the hallway like he owned the world because he did. Sharp suit, cold eyes. That same unreadable face from the courthouse years ago. He didn't recognize her. Not until she said, "My name is Olivia. Olivia Bennett. We were married 5 years ago." His stride slowed. His jaw tightened. And for the first time in years, their eyes locked, this time not as strangers, but as parents tied by a secret neither of them was ready for. What came next would change everything, because Grayson was about to find out. He had a son, and Olivia was done running. Grayson didn't speak at first. He stood in the hallway of Wolf Industries. frozen, staring at Olivia like he was seeing a ghost. The woman who disappeared 5 years ago, now standing in front of him, calm but trembling, eyes full of unspoken. "Truths? You had a child?" he finally asked, voice low, careful. Olivia nodded. "His name is Noah. He's 5, and he's yours." Grayson took a breath like the air had been knocked out of him. His hands clenched, then loosened. He looked away, then back at her. "Why didn't you tell me? I wanted to." "I almost did 100 times," she whispered. "Know who you really were. Back then, you were just the quiet guy at the courthouse. I didn't know you were Grayson Wolfe." He didn't respond. Instead, he turned and walked away. For a moment, Olivia thought that was it, that she'd made a terrible mistake, but he came back a minute later. With his phone in one hand and his assistant trailing behind. "Clear my schedule," he ordered, "for the rest of the day." Then to Olivia, "Let's talk." The next. Few days passed like a storm. Grayson met Noah and instantly. Something shifted. The cold-guarded man softened at the sight of the boy. Noah had his eyes, his stubborn chin, his curiosity. Grayson didn't say much, but his actions said everything. He bought Noah a new art set, took him to the park, sat with him for hours, listening, and for Olivia. It was like watching two pieces of her life finally connect. But the peace didn't last long. Word of Olivia's scandal at the design. Competition had spread fast. But what came next would flip the entire city on its head. Grayson called a press conference. No one knew why. The media was buzzing. Rumors flew. New company merger? CEO stepping down? But what they got was something else entirely. Grayson stepped onto the stage in front of flashing cameras, holding a small stack of papers. "Good evening," he began. "There's been some confusion about a woman named Olivia Bennett. Today I'd like to clear that up." He held up their marriage certificate. "Years ago, we were legally married. Due to an administrative error, we never corrected the paperwork. That ends now, because I'm publicly confirming that Olivia Bennett is my wife and the mother of my child." Gasps echoed through the crowd. Reporters whispered. Cameras zoomed. "I've also reviewed the recent accusations against her," Grayson continued. "They're false. Fabricated by parties with ulterior motives. Legal action is underway." He turned to Olivia, who stood at the edge of the room, frozen in disbelief. "This is my family. I will protect them, no matter what." In that moment, Olivia realized something. He didn't just believe her. He was fighting for her, not in the shadows, behind closed doors, but publicly, powerfully, as a man in love. And just like that, the tide began to turn. Because when Grayson Wolfe speaks, the world listens. And now, I knew the truth. Olivia wasn't a fraud. She was the woman he chose. And tomorrow, the world would learn what happens when you come for a Wolfe's family. You never walk away untouched. Grayson's public declaration sent shockwaves through the city. Overnight, Olivia's name was cleared. Media outlets scrambled to retract their previous stories. Influencers who once mocked her were now praising her strength. But not everyone was celebrating. In a penthouse across town, Vanessa Moore was watching the press conference replay with shaking hands. "He what?" she hissed. For the past 3 years, Vanessa had claimed to be Grayson Wolfe's. She had charmed his mother, lingered around company functions, and spun a carefully crafted lie about being the mother of his second child, Grant. Everyone believed her until now. Grayson had just shattered that illusion on live television, and worse, he hadn't mentioned her at all. The next morning, Vanessa stormed into Wolfe Industries unannounced. Olivia happened to be in the lobby waiting for Grayson. Well, Vanessa sneered. "So you're the one playing wife now." Olivia stood calmly. "I'm not playing anything. I'm his wife." Vanessa laughed coldly. "You think this little fairy tale of yours is going to last? You have no idea who you're dealing with?" "I think I do," Olivia replied. "You've lied about everything, including being Grant's mother. That ends today." Didn't know was that Grayson had already launched a private investigation. The results were damning. Grant wasn't her biological son. She had taken him from a hospital overseas, adopting him under shady conditions, and forging documents. To look like she was the mother. There had never been a sister who died. There had never been a tragic love story. It was all fiction. That afternoon, Grayson confronted her with the evidence. "You used a child to get close to my family," he said, voice icy. "You lied too. My mother, to me, to the world. You've even tried to erase the real mother from his life." Vanessa's confidence cracked. "Don't do this," she whispered. "Please, if this gets out, I'll lose everything." "You already have," he said. Security escorted her out. Within hours, Wolf Industries issued an official statement severing all ties. The truth was exposed. Vanessa Moore's empire of lies came crashing down in public. As for Grant, he was taken in by Grayson and Olivia. At first, the little boy was distant, confused, but Olivia, with her natural warmth and patience, reached him slowly. And Noah. Noah treated Grant like a brother from the very start, because they were. The DNA tests confirmed Grant and Noah were twins. Separated at birth. Another one. Of Vanessa's lies, Olivia stood in their bedroom one evening, watching them color side by side. Grayson came up behind her, wrapping an arm around her waist. "They're finally home," she whispered. He nodded, "And so are you." To him, smiling, "You sure you're ready for all this chaos?" Grayson kissed her forehead. "As long as I get to do it with you." The Wolf family was whole again. No more lies. No more hiding. And for the first time in years, Olivia could finally breathe, because real love had won, and nothing would ever break them apart again. What a journey, right? From an accidental courthouse marriage to uncovering lies, betrayal, and a love that refused to break. Olivia and Grayson's story has taken us through every twist and turn. But now, I want to hear from you. What part hit you the hardest? Was it when Olivia bravely stood up to her family? When Grayson finally held his son for the first time? Or maybe when the truth about Vanessa came crashing down? Your thoughts matter? Drop a comment below and tell me your favorite moment, your most shocking twist, or even what you hope to see in the next chapter. Do you think Olivia and Grayson will finally get there happily ever after? Or is there more drama on the horizon? And while you're at it, let us know where you're watching from. It's always incredible to see how far these stories reach from big cities to small towns. We're all part of this story-loving community, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because if you thought this chapter was wild, you haven't seen anything yet.